bumper in 3, 2, 1, bumper. You guys are unmuted. And coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Feels like it's been forever since DreamHack Anaheim, and I kind of miss it, so just happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun. So, this is the MCC Pro Series, as we mentioned. So, we're going to be covering all these live matches today. And just to give an insight into how the format works, we've got a series of open tournaments as well as a series of pro tournaments. And the teams go back and forth, battling against each other in the different tournaments. So, it all started last week, the Swiss Open tournament. To start it all, we had 107 teams tournament sign up. So incredible attendance here. And then we took the top 8 teams from DreamHack Anaheim, automatically qualified them for this tournament. So all these teams are now competing here today. There's going to be 16 total teams, starting with a group stage, as well as with the championship bracket once the group stage is concluded. So 16 teams starting groups. Bottom 2 are eliminated. Top 2 move forward to our single elimination championship bracket with 8 teams. So these 8 teams that you're about to see, they've already qualified for the next pro tournament in 2 weeks. And now we're going to see the bottom 2 teams make their way back to the Open next Saturday, so a week from today. All these matches you've seen here today are indeed best of 5. Of course, we've got tons of tournaments as part of the MCC Pro Series. So we've got a full schedule that you can check out that goes to June as well as July. You see the dates there on your screen. So today is Pro Tournament, May 30th, and it goes all the way through to July 18th, where we'll have the final Pro Tournament taking place there. And of course, you can get involved. As you can see there are open tournaments, so they are free to sign up on faceit.com. So the main link that will take you directly to the Halo page will be ak.ms/rs registration, PS registration. You can see there on your screen. Just sign on up. Totally free to enter and free for everyone around the world too. So we've had a lot of international teams compete. A team from Japan, from Italy, and different parts of the world. So really amazing to see all this that we had. So thank you again for everyone to sign up. John, I know you've got some goodies for us.
Yeah. So on top of tweeting at Halo at HCS using the hashtag MCCPro series, after every single series today, we're going to be giving away one MCC bundle code for the entire bundle on Steam. So that'll contain all the games that we've released so far up to Halo 2 anniversary. And then it also gives you access to all future titles that are going to be rolling out to MCC on PC. So look forward to that. It's going to be a first come, first serve. So be ready to redeem a code on Steam and first come, first serve as fast as you can, or else you might miss it. But we are doing quite a few today. So just be ready and hopefully you can.
Yeah, I think there's going to be around 4 today. So should be enough for a full team to get together and play. Now, guys, like I mentioned, we did start last week with the Open tournament. So I want to go ahead and take a look at the teams that made it through from the Open bracket. Again, there were 9 in total that met with the top 7 teams from Anaheim. And so here they are. So, Wes, I want to hear from you. Which teams stick out for you here?
Yeah, I think if you take a look at these teams, you have to talk about Phenoms, right? You have to talk about Bound, Pistola, Neptune, and Trippy, and the juggernaut team that they probably are going to be throughout this MCC Pro Series. I think that there's a lot of familiar names across the board. Looking at a lot of other teams like Fantasy, we saw him come up in the Halo 3 MCC series, and he had a lot of success. You see names like Tusk, Jimbo, Flamesword on Status Quo. I mean, that's a high skilled roster that has a lot of experience across multiple titles. And it doesn't shock me at all with the success that we've seen them have so far today. I think that there's a lot of individuals that stick out in these lists, but not necessarily a certain team. So I'm looking forward to seeing who's found the young guns and who's found like the cohesiveness outside of the known names that are able to kind of bring them up and find success against some of these top teams.
You know, Wes, there's a lot of buzz around this player Bound. You know, I don't think he's ever been to an event, but he's on a top team. Like, look at the caliber of talent that's on his team. Do you have any more insights about this player?
Yeah, I've actually been casting a lot of Halo 5 2v2 tournaments recently, and Bound has competed in almost all of them, and he's done nothing but impress me. I think whenever I talk to other pros about Bound, they all tell me how individually skilled he is and how good he is at Halo 5, and how if Halo 5 had had another year under its belt and Bound had attended LANs, that he would have found himself on a team just like this. So it's no surprise to me that he's kind of made his way onto a team with Pistola, Neptune, and Trippy. And it says a lot about him as an individual, that these players that are known, that take it very serious, and that have all three of them have the potential to be winning tournaments. So for them to team with him and choose him as their fourth just speaks volumes to their confidence and what they see in him. So it would not surprise me at all to see Bound come up on the scene very quickly and make a name for himself as a dominant player, because you don't just get on a team like that by accident. It reminds me of, I'm not going to compare him to Snipedown, but it kind of reminds me of the same situation that Snipedown similarly had when all of a sudden he's teaming with Macchio, Victory, and I forgot the fourth on the team, but it was like he very quickly rose through the rankings of top teams and was given an opportunity because those pros saw something special in him. And I think that's something similar to what we're seeing Pistola, Trippy, and Neptune see in Bound.
Well, guys, we did have the group stage conclude this morning, so I want to go ahead and take a look at the results and hear your thoughts on some of the outcomes and the findings that we have here. So you can see there, Group A, we've got Inconceivable and Phenoms making it out. Group B, we've got Turning Point and In Control making it out. Group C, Sentinels and HZF making it out. And in Group D, to close it out, we've got Pride and Status Quo. John, what sticks out to you here? Any upsets or surprises?
Yeah, we had two teams that qualified from DreamHack at Anaheim not make it in to this champ bracket. They didn't make it out of the round robin stage, and that is Lux and Falling Esports. I was really looking to see just kind of which open team would claim that one spot that was left, but instead we saw 4 open teams make it in because they cleaned out their pools. Like it was really surprising, right? We see Status Quo, Phenoms, HZF, and In Control all making it into this champ bracket from the open. Really cool to see.
Yeah, well, here are the teams that made it out of the groups, and now let's take a look at how they lay out into the bracket so we can see the exact matchups. So you can see there at the top, we've got Inconceivable versus HCF, Pride versus In Control, Sentinels versus Phenoms, Turning Point versus Status Quo. Wes, what do you make of this bracket so far?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for any of these top 4 seeded teams to get upset. And I think the best opportunity that a team outside of our top 4 seeds was going to be Phenoms. And unfortunately for them, they kind of match up against Sentinels. And I'm not saying that they don't have an opportunity to win that series, because they absolutely can beat Sentinels in a best of 5. But I think that that's probably the one team that they didn't want to match up against early in this bracket. But that being said, every one of these teams has kind of proven themselves and has earned this spot in this top 8 bracket, especially grinding through pool play and the open tournament. So you never want to like close the door on anything that could put any potential upset, right? Like Status Quo and Flamesword and Jimbo have created upsets in the past. So am I saying that Turning Point's going to automatically win that series? Absolutely not, but they're definitely heavy favorites. I see a lot of In Control last night on matchmaking, just grinding away. Like I played against them probably 4, 5, 6 times last night. And honestly, those players were pretty solid. But it's just like these top 4 teams are typically on a whole different level. With the addition of Phenoms, I think you have to add those players as well. And it's just a matter of have teams been able to kind of catch up and play at that level. and that's something that we've yet to see any of these teams kind of do. But there's always going to be the time where one of these teams breaks into the top 4, right? We've seen it so many times in the past where a team is a top 8, a top 6 team, and then all of a sudden there's that one tournament where they figure it out and they click and they put in the work and they make it into the top 4. So that could be an opportunity here today for one of those things to happen.
Well, yeah, it looks like an exciting bracket nonetheless, and determines how it splits out. So we'll have to see. But you've seen the teams now in the bracket. Let's go ahead and take a look at what they're actually going to be playing for in the prizing breakout. So of course we've got $5,000 on the line today, and $500 for the open tournaments. First place is going to take home $2,000. Second place, $1,000. Third and fourth, $500 each, and then fifth through eighth will take home $250. So not bad for a Saturday of Halo. So super excited to see which teams are going to be making it out here. Now, before we get into our first quarterfinal matchup, I believe we have a message from some of our friends across the pond. So let's go ahead and roll that footage and see what this is all about.
Hello and welcome, folks. I'm Shersy1, joined by the lovely Dan Gaskin, and today we're going to be talking about the MCCPro series, and in specific, we'll be talking about Phenoms. That is the squad of Pistola, Neptune, Bound, and Trippy. This team just made it through the most recent Open series, and they went unbeaten and didn't drop a single map. They made it through unscathed. Dan, can this team go all the way?
Can this team go all the way? Yes. Do I think they will go all the way? No. And I'll tell you why I don't think they will. I think the one reason is Sentinels. I believe that Halo is all about chemistry. It always has been, and it always will be. And Sentinels have way more chemistry than any other roster right now because they've stuck together through thick and thin. Yeah, okay, they had the one change where Frosty went for APG, but he just slotted in absolutely perfectly. Yes, this team is amazing. You've got Bound, who's a new up-and-comer. He's the new kid on the block. He had a great KDA of 1.96 across this weekend's AM tournament, and he's alongside some of the greatest. Pistola, who won the first ever North American H2A tournament back in the day. He had a 2.36 KD. He hasn't lost it. The kid is just insane. And then Neptune and Trippy, we know what they're capable of as well. They're going to be up there. Top 4, top 3, maybe even top 2 contesting Sentinels in a final, but I don't think they'll be able to pip them, Richie.
No, either way, it's going to be tasty. And I believe we have Onset, who has a little bit of information for us down in the field.
I have no idea why I'm here.
Thanks so much, Onset.
What a wonderful insight. I'm so lucky I get to work with him on a regular basis.
He really knows his stuff. Now, Dan, earlier in the show, we talked about Sentinels and how good the team is with chemistry, synergy, and all that good stuff. This team has only made one change in what feels like the last forever, Dan. Can they really solidify themselves as one of the best teams around?
This is a really controversial opinion, Richie, and some people probably will be unhappy
I'm sorry,
with me
Dan,
saying it.
but I'm actually going to have to cut you off there because we're all out of time. No doubt that's going to get people's chins wagging. Let's throw this over to Unishek, Clutch, and Tashi as they call all the Halo action.
Well, thanks to our friends there from Europa Halo and Gaskin there, and just a brief glimpse of Onset, it seems.
He always sneaks his way into these things.
So insightful at all times, though. I mean, the amount of analysis that Onset's always able to deliver is just overwhelming at times. So it's unfortunate we had to keep his time short, but it was wise words nonetheless.
Yeah, apparently that's all that could be afforded. His rate for 5 seconds of airtime is through the roof. I think it's like £1,000 for 5 seconds. So, yeah, thank you for gracing us with your presence, Mark. Anyway, guys, our first matchup is going to be Sentinels versus Phenoms. So we have a really insane match to bring to you guys here. And I want to let the fans know at home how this is going to work. So we're going to be watching Sentinels versus Phenoms for the first quarterfinal match, but all of the players are going to be streaming as well. So head over to the Twitch directory and you can see all their player streams there if you want to catch up. We're also going to be providing updates on the other quarterfinals match. And if we have time, we'll jump into those matches so you can watch them as well before we move on to the semifinals. But guys, amazing first round matchup to watch here. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's two juggernauts going at it, right? And I think it's probably a premature statement to call Phenoms a juggernaut as of they haven't competed in a tournament. But I'm going to go ahead and do it because just of the players on the team, right? And what I expect of these players. I expect this could have been the finals for me, but they messed up round one. And I think it's going to be a great one. I think that I've watched a little bit of Sentinels today, and I watched a little bit of Phenoms, and it feels like they're both playing pretty well. And that's exactly what I want to see and hear going into the first series of this kind of tournament, especially knowing that it's a single elimination tournament. I want everything to be left out on the playing field, right? I don't want anybody feeling like they're not warmed up or they didn't have the opportunity to play their best.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, now let's jump into the series layout to see exactly the maps and modes that they're going to be competing on right now. So you can see there on your screen, best of 5 series between these two teams. We're going to kicking things off with Warlord CTF. Game 2 will be Shrine Team Slayer. Game 3 is going to be Warlord Ball. Game 4, if necessary, Shrine Bomb. Game 5, I really hope we get there, Lockdown Team Slayer. John, talk to us about this this series layout there.
Yeah, Warlord CTF. It's going to be a total meat grinder to open things up today. Just watching what teams can get that side control and establish that dominance and maintain it. But it's a small map. We've got 8 players on it. It's just going to be a total slay fest to try and see who can actually come out on top. And then if we could go back to the map, the series layout, I'd love to walk through the other ones. Wes, did you have any thoughts on that Warlord CTF?
Just looking at 2 Warlords in the first 5, or in the first 3 of the best of 5 is pretty tough if you're Phenoms, I think. If we take a look at this Sentinels roster and we go across the multiple Halos, we kind of watch them play. I feel like they're typically more dominant on maps with less power weapons and less snipes and rockets and ways to overwhelm a team with like the click of one button instead of just using like a pistol or a BR. So I think that specifically APG kind of thrives in game types like that. Like Amplified and Onslaught, to me, were always APG's best game types because they didn't have power weapons and he could shine with his BR. So Warlord's going to be pretty tough, I think, for Phenoms to kind of beat Sentinels in. And having seen that in 2 of the first 3 game types, it makes me think that, like, yes, they do have 2 Sanks in the first 4, so there's opportunities to kind of make back what you lost in the Warlords. So it's very important to me that game 2 is a win for Phenoms just to get to game 4 to bring it to a game 5. But that being said, they're super skilled players in themselves, and I wouldn't put it past Pistola taking over another Warlord game and making it like his series.
I mean, he is the wizard, right? So it should feel at home on that map.
That's actually a fair point. I didn't think about that, John. Holy cow. Okay, so guys, I think folks have heard enough of us talking about hyping up this matchup. We're just about ready to get into the game, so we're going to jump into game number 1 with Sentinels and Phenoms. We're going to be starting things off with Snakebyte's POV here. And be sure to, if you want to check out Snakebyte's stream, head over to twitch.tv/Snakebite as well, and you can hang out in the chat there. The match is going to be getting underway in just a second. The other POV that we're going to be switching to will be Phenoms Trippy. So it's pretty cool that we get to, from this remote broadcast, everyone's kind of at home making this work, be able to catch these different POVs. So, and big thanks to the players as well for streaming. I'm sure they're putting on a show for the fans here watching this channel, but also on their own channel. So I'm really curious to see who wins this game 1, guys. Any predictions right off the bat for game 1?
I'm going to go with what Wes was saying. He sounded pretty convincing. I'm going to go with Sentinels for this game number 1.
I think game 1's going to be really close. I expect Sentinels to win, kind of with what I said earlier. But I think it's going to be super close. I think a lot of Warlord games are very close because of just how high paced they are. And I'm excited to get it underway and just see who came to play.
So the match is still being set up and I think starting. So actually looks like it's live now. So let's go ahead and jump in with Snakebite on Warlord CTF. John and Wes, take it away.
All right. So we've got, it looks like Snakebite grabbing that camo and immediately dropping low, but APG stole his Sentinel beam, but Bound spotting both, takes him out with the shotgun. He was doing the YY trick, and he just got a triple kill on Royal too. They're pushing in right off the bat. Wes, your prediction might not be the best right now.
Yeah, it's early, and a little bit of a blunder for Sentinels right there, having two players find themselves both bottom middle right there, and then Bound just walks in with a shotgun, picks up a two-piece, takes down not only the power weapon, but the power-up controller as well. And that was a big double from Bound, and it's good to see him kind of get off to a hot start here early on, because this is a big opportunity for him. This is the first tournament that he's gotten with a very serious team that has the potential to win, and for him to start off the game with a triple kill, that's got to be a confidence booster.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's if you've got any nerves whatsoever and then you open it up with a triple kill, taking out a power weapon and a power up, that's got to feel really nice. But we also saw Sentinels immediately bounce back. Snakebite had the Sentinel beam over on the yellow side, and his teammates were on green, and they were starting to push in and collapse on blue. But we saw Phenoms counter and break that push up. It was really interesting to see Sentinels immediately off those first respawns just come pushing out and reestablish just kind of like that 50-50 control. We'll get them out of the base. It's okay, everything's fine. It was just that opening play, and now we're actually seeing the match play out.
Yeah, I think you're still, even though Bound was able to pick up that triple kill, and not to harp on that one play for too long, but Lethal, the last guy alive, actually ended up staying alive and doing a ton of damage right there, and it stopped any potential cap that our Phenoms roster was going to run away with early in this game, and because of it, because of Lethal staying alive and doing that damage, it looks like Sentinels has kind of been able to kind of maintain map control for the most part. Snakebite hits the back button there and shows 3 dead. 2 players on Phenoms flags right here. This is exactly what Sentinels fans want to see. They're going to try and run this flag top middle. And I love the top middle run because it's so easy to get the return in this game. That you want to kind of keep the flag up there, but it does look like Phenoms was able to kind of sneak a player in and get that touch and to get the return, but there's still control in the side of this Sentinels roster, and it doesn't look like Phenoms has been able to kind of break the entire control that they've had so far.
Yeah, I was really interested how that Phenom player actually got up top to get that recup, because it looked like Sentinels had a player on that green flag to watch. Royal 2 was going across top middle, and then all of a sudden, as Royal 2 was shooting someone, we just saw a Phenom player jump up, quickly get the recup, and now that entire flag push or flag run was stopped. Someone just snuck in and shut it all down.
Yeah, I think with the addition of the shotgun jumps up to top middle, that the H2A version of Warlord, or Warlock, I'll say, just allows for teams so many more openings to get up top middle or onto plats and in places that they typically weren't able to in previous Halos. And because of that, you see returns happen pretty quickly if a team's not on its P's and Q's. Bound pressing the back button right there. That's all 4 dead, 4 Phenoms, and it looks like Sentinels is going to be running this first flag cap in. And ever since the beginning where Bound got that triple kill, Sentinels has really been in control and has been putting the hurt on Phenoms, right? Like, it doesn't feel like Phenoms has had any map control. This is the first time I've seen a Phenoms member alive top middle and not die in the first 2 seconds, right? I think this is a big opportunity for them, because when you get map control against Sentinels, you have to take advantage of it, because there's only going to be so many times that you get that break.
Well, as we say that, we see 3 down, 4 Sentinels, but yeah, it felt like they were on the back of their heels for quite some time. We're going to see if they can actually bring this flag home. Looks like quite a few members falling. He needs to stop that, but I'm not sure if he did. I think Snakebite snuck in there and got that recup.
Yeah, it's you thought that was going to be an opportunity for a Phenoms cap right there, but unfortunately it doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull it off. But they do have a little bit of map control still. You see 3 still dead, 4 Sentinels, but it feels like that last player is always able to get the kill, and you see Snakebite once again trading on his flag, and that's the most important kill, is the guy that's on your flag, because no matter what Phenoms is doing around the rest of the map, as long as they're not pulling your flag, you still have that luxury of playing defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just making sure you have home base is always so important. Right now, we've got a camo and a sentinel beam. We called this the Predator combo, if I remember correctly, back in the day. And oh my goodness, a great spring jump to the top plat from Snakebite. And now he's just raining down fire, absolutely beaming, pun fully intended. Trippy, now bound, just trying to establish control, be a nuisance, allow his teammates to push up. Hopefully they can take down quite a few people and then move that flag. We see Snakebite go down, a few other members of Sentinel go down. And now we actually see Phenoms making the flag run despite not having the power-ups or the power weapon.
Yeah, and it's going to be super interesting to see if they're able to get this return. And yes, they do. Sentinels is able to pick up that return. Kind of a risky flag run by Phenoms. They gave up everything in order to kind of get it to their base. And what is it going to cost them? Sentinels now running the Phenom flag and having control of the map. This is a very important moment for Phenoms to pick up some kills and make sure they don't go down 2 flag caps. It does look like the flag is going to return based off a timer. Lethal struggling to stay alive. His Needler right now needs to figure out how to find the kill because Phenoms once again in their base. It's going to be a difficult moment for Sentinels right now, having spawn outside of their flag, knowing that there's a player about to pull.
So right there, the Sentinel beam, I believe it has extra melee damage when you're falling down. That's how Snakebite was able to win that fight. He just put a little bit of extra damage in, and then as he was coming down, using that falling momentum that Halo 2 has with its melee system, was able to take down that player even though he was weak before the fight started. Really well executed. But now we see Royal 2 setting up on one of the side flags, and a few members going down for Phenoms. This looks like the start to a good push out of the Sentinel squad.
Yeah, Royal 2 is king side flag on a map like Warlord. You're typically going to see him just holding it down, and that's a very frustrating experience if you're on the other side of it because it feels like you're always getting shot from whatever angles you give him. He's a player that typically doesn't miss, and he's a player that's going to lay down a lot of damage in a very short period of time. So I think Phenoms needs to be focused on making sure he's not able to comfortably sit at one of these side flags and deal a ton of damage. We are looking at Trippy's screen as his flag gets pulled. This is a big kill that he's able to pick up on the APG, and it looks like he's going to be able to get the return because he takes APG down, stopping any momentum that Sentinels was about to try and gain on them. But this is just a continuous battle for control, right? It feels like 7 minutes into this game, and these teams have not really been able to establish too much control. We saw a little bit early on from Sentinels, but since then it's been back and forth, and no team really getting a good spawn trap going on. And that's what I'm really paying attention to, is who can get the first cycle of spawn traps going on in order to get this next flag.
Guys, if I can jump in for a second, I'd love to see if we can go to a listen in to hear how these teams are communicating in this really grind over match here.
Let's do it.
I got him. Camo in 10. 17 camo, yeah. Inside bottom, Trippy. Trippy's one hit inside bottom. Trippy inside bottom, to our side. They're going for camo. Top mid, half health on camo. Top mid, he fell bottom mid. Camo. Yellow shotty. He's our shotty. No, inside bottom. He's green wall, green shotty. Top mid camo. Watch ours. We're running this. He's blue shotty jumping up. Oh, unlucky. Grenades. Olo in it, grenades. Alright, yellow. At their health. Nice nade. Trippy and one other health port.
Using more as well, boys. Yeah, making sure we're not getting killed from them.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag right now.
Try to get out. Try to port out, dude. One's like our health port. One's green flag. Camo's on you.
On our
flag.
One shot flag. One shot flag. We're camo. APG. I'm gonna die, dude. They're nades. Snakebite.
Go on health. You still health?
He's got camo or flag somewhere still.
Top red on it. Above me.
Yep.
I got 3.
Yellow needles. Yellow needles weak. Yellow needs. Yeah, needles. One's red plat. Adam.
They have camo or nerd.
Oh, okay. I'm getting triple teamed. Their plat's dead.
My God, say after Adam.
The guy going green on me.
Either flag.
Green nades on me. On
Yeah,
dude,
green shotgun. They have flag. What?
They have flag in their flag. I can't do anything to stop this. Green flag. I'm literally getting trouble.
Got ready.
I think just to jump back in here, I think my favorite call out there was, I think you got a triple from Pistola.
One's green plat.
Yeah, they know I'm here.
We also saw a really nice out BR from Bound. Was underneath Royal 2, inside of Sentinel's base. Bound was in the red nades, and Royal 2 was jumping over him, and Bound hits him with like a perfect 4, able to take him down. And be a nuisance in that base. It was a really cool play to see. And we do have Sentinels up 2-0 now. We were wondering when that next cap is and was going to come in, and they're running in the third.
Yeah, I think since we went to Elysium, we've seen the Sentinels kind of gain a lot more control and consistency of that control in this match. They've kind of adapted to the playstyle of Phenoms, and they've kind of learned on the fly. And because of that, they've built this 3-0 lead, and a 3-0 lead with 4 minutes left in the game is a very daunting task if you're a Phenoms member, with a huge triple kill with the shotgun, Sentinel beam, camo blade from Snakebite. Power up, power weapon control at its finest here on Warlord. There might not be a ton of power weapons on the map, but like arguably Snakebite is using these sandbox items to their best benefit, right? I love this play by him. Putting pressure onto Phenoms. There's not a whole lot Neptune can do in a situation like that. And with that will be another flag pull, and it looks like they have their mindset on scoring more flags and not just comfortably sitting with the 3-0 lead.
Yeah, that was just really well done. I don't know if I've seen the Sentinel beam shotgun combo all too often, but we saw the killing frenzy come in. Sorry to cut you off, Tosh. This killing frenzy from Snakebite right before he drops. Just super well played. They ended up getting 1, if not 2 caps because of those plays from Snakebite. And that was just really cool to see.
Yeah, super, just incredible performance for Game 1 right now. Killing Frenzy on a map like Warlord is extremely tough to get because, I mean, everybody, it's so small and it's so fast-paced that you're eventually thinking that he's going to get caught off guard by a spawner or someone that he doesn't necessarily know. Like, the portals just give you so many, like, difficulties with awareness, but Snakebite, being the legend that he is able to kind of have the ultimate level of awareness. And continuing to run this flag with the Sentinel Beam shotgun combo. He's only got 5% left in the Sentinel Beam, so you know he's been using it. The other 95%, and that's a frustrating feeling if you're on the side of Phenoms, because Snakebite just picked up a brand new, fresh Sentinel Beam. So if you were tired of getting Sentinel Beam before, he's got 98% more to go on this one, and like clockwork, picks up another camo and has a shotgun still. I mean, this is super frustrating if you're Phenoms. Goes down to a nade, fortunately. But the damage has been done, right? It's 4-0. There's 3 minutes left. You'd almost have to be playing perfect Halo against a team like Sentinels if you're Phenoms in order to kind of come back in this game. And that's almost too difficult of a task to ask anybody, let alone the young guns and this new squad and Phenoms.
Yeah, just the teamwork and coordination from a squad that's been together for so long. It's going to be hard to overcome this 4-0 deficit, as we see Royal 2 tossing up that final flag to Snakebite. They put it in, win 5-0. Like you said, Wes, Sentinels going to take it.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that dominant of a performance, right? But it's not shocking to see a team like Sentinels really run away with the BR-centric playstyle that Warlord brings you. Taking a look at the stats right now, 38, 22, and 22 from Snakebite. Royal 2 with the plus 14 behind him, so even though we didn't get to watch his point of view, you know he was doing work. Snakebite thirsty after all the communication and the work that was just put in by him. And, I mean, Lethal plus 3, APG plus 5, you know they're doing a lot of the entry frag and a lot of the getting in their base, running the flags. While Royal 2 and Snakebite are able to kind of do what they want to do. So, unbelievable job by them to 5-0 a team like Phenoms. It's a dominant performance in Game 1.
Yeah, Snakebite and Royal 2 combined for plus 30. That was crazy. Really well done from those two.
Yeah, it was always... I was going to say, it's like always nice to make those kind of jokes when you're like, when you add stats with one of your teammates. When I teamed with Royal 2, there was like a game he went plus 25 and I went like plus 1 in. I'm like, dude, we went plus 26 that game. So if Lethal's smart, he's just saying that him and Royal 2 went, or him and Snakebite went like whatever it would be, plus 19 or whatever. So it's always funny to make those jokes, but when putting it into like perspective with 2 players going plus double digits, it's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm. And now we've got Team Slayer on Shrine. Looks like players really taking advantage of the spring jump. They've been watching so many Shyway videos. It's unreal. using like just ignoring the jump up rock. I honestly didn't even know that one was a thing, but as soon as I saw him pull up that scoreboard, I knew he was going for it, knew he had it planned, and knew he could execute. And they end up getting rockets back to their base because of it. Very well done.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the start of this game kind of goes as far as the score is concerned, because Phenoms having just gotten blown out in game 1, it's going to be very telling. Are they able to rebound to a game 2 quickly, or is game 1 going to kind of linger in their heads and is going to affect them for the rest of the series? They need to be able to shake it off, and they have to do it fast, because this game 1 started before I was even able to talk about the stats for a little bit. So Sentinels jumping into a game 2 that quickly is a smart strategy by them to make sure that the beatdown that they just listed on them is still fresh in their minds. But it's on the job of Phenoms, the young guns that are newer to high competitive like tournaments, to kind of rebound quickly. And it looks like they've been doing a solid job. They built up a couple kill lead, and now they have control of the map.
Yeah, we saw they just took out Snakebite, who had shotgun inside of ring. Phenoms shutting that down, now getting 2 people on ring 3, trying to make sure that they do not lose height advantage at all. Ola, I think, picks up a double kill right there. And now they're catching 1 player in that jump up spot, but he gets shot from quite a few different places. It looks like that red player from Sentinels did have some help. Phenoms still maintaining ring control. Still maintaining that lead, and now coming in back immediately to ring. You saw Neptune right off that rock spawn push straight for ring and trying to back off Sentinels because they need to control that center of the map.
Yeah, this 6 kill lead's huge, right, for Phenoms. I think that early on we saw a member of Sentinels with the rockets, and with that you expect them to kind of get a lead and get map control, but Phenoms did a great job of shutting them down, and with that, Trippy on a killing spree off screen is going to be the reason for that, right? That 5 kill swing is almost perfectly resembled in the scoreboard right now. Being up 6, Trippy having a hot start to game 2, exactly what he and his team needed so far.
I'm curious, is he going to get the spring jump? He does. Yeah. Oh no, but then he misses the easier one. That 1-2 jump all the way to ring 3 is one that I've seen more and more pros start to practice. It is not easy to pull off, but it will get you from your bonfire to ring 3 in a matter of like 2 seconds. So very important jump to know. Phenoms running away with it a little bit more. We see them slowly just extending and extending this lead. And Wes, you said this was going to be the one they needed to after a loss to Sentinels. They needed to win to make sure that they force a game 4 that they could also potentially win.
Yeah, absolutely. And in doing so, they're going to allow themselves a little bit of a break from what happened game 1, right? I think that this is so important that they're able to continue at this pace, and the lead being up to 10 right now is a pretty insurmountable lead against top teams. I think it would take power weapon control and like a few spawn kill rotations from Sentinels to kind of come back in this game. I just don't know if Phenoms is going to let that happen, and in doing so, they're going to break their way into this series and make it a 1-1 series if they continue it. But there's still a lot left to be played. It's a 9-kill lead now, and it looks like Sentinels has ring control. Phenoms needs to be careful right here and make sure they're able to trade out kills in order to get map control back.
I'm just curious how Trippy just got onto ring 3, though, because Sentinels definitely had some control right there of the ring. Looks like they weren't covering that other P Street, though, and Trippy was able to push in, get up top, and kind of be a nuisance, breaking up that setup a little bit.
Yeah, I think that they've done a good job so far, but you see the lead dwindle, right?
Yep.
You see it's down to 7 now, and Sentinels having map control. How long are Phenoms going to continue to be unable to trade kills? And it's only a matter of time for power weapons to start respawning here, and Sentinels can do a lot of damage with those. So Phenoms needs to be careful here. Lead down to 6, and Lethal's being aggressive into the hut. You see Trippy pick up that snipe right before going down. So now Sentinels is picking up 2 additional kills and that sniper. And now Phenoms is really starting to look worried and has to get a grip on this game because what was once a 10-kill lead is now just a 4-kill lead. Sentinels also having sniper control, looking like they're going to be able to push ring with it. This is a very dangerous situation if you're a Phenoms fan.
Yeah, they've got a 3-2 numbers advantage right now. We saw 2 members of Phenoms go down. It looks like a 3rd member went down. So Phenoms trying to get that ring control as Sentinels had pushed into the other base. Unable to get that ring control and is now falling rapidly. And we see Sentinels using their veteran strategies to now bring that game so much closer than it was before.
Yeah, this is a can't-lose game if you're Phenoms. You cannot be up 10 kills in the Slayer, down 1-0 in the series, and lose this game. You have to get a grip on this game. You have to get control back, and the pace of the game has to feel a lot better because right now you can kind of see in the gameplay that it's kind of hectic for them. And yes, Trippy does catch Snakebite off guard right there and on the flank, and that's a huge pickup by Trippy because if he doesn't find Snakebite right there, Snakebite probably kills the player in his hut, and then the spawn kill is on for them. They've got the lead back up to 5. One player makes the jump to ring 3, one player doesn't. We'll see how that kind of affects the control right now. You don't necessarily want too many players ring 3, but it is a nice dominant spot to have on the map. It does look like for just a moment Phenoms has ring control. You see 3 players in ring. But what kind of damage are they going to be able to do? Great job by Trippy catching Snakebite off guard once again right there. And those 2 kills are going to give them a little bit more comfort zone as we get into the late game here, but for a moment there, it really looked like Sentinels didn't really care about the 10-point lead, and they were going to run away with this again.
Looks like 3 people from the Sentinels roster all pushing in their ring at the exact same time. They took out Bound, and Trippy just had to back down. That was a really well executed play from Sentinels. But they're still down 4 kills. You see Snakebite flying at Neptune, who's got the sniper in the hut. If he can shut that down, they really do stand a chance at making this comeback happen. But unfortunately gets taken out by Trippy. Does pick up the kill on Ola, so not a complete waste. It was a nice trade, but at this point, you got to get more than 1 kill. You can't be trading out those deaths.
Yeah, it's 7:12 left on the clock. Sentinels has rockets. Bound takes down Lethal, who I believe may have had rockets, and down goes Snakebite again. And that was 2 big kills because I expected a little bit of a stalemate as Sentinels decides how they wanted to kind of finally break this setup that Phenoms has. And we see Trippy running away with rockets. 1 shot in the bond. That's a huge job by Trippy to get those rockets from the player that was killed and to run away with them. Trippy having a phenomenal game too. Just from all points of view that we've seen so far. And it looks like Phenoms is probably going to be able to close this out as they pick up another kill on the Snakebite. 48-41, 49-41, and 1 to go. That was a great job by Phenoms to regain control in the middle of this game and solidify this win. I know they still need 1, and Sentinels is the team they are, but I don't think that they're going to be able to close this gap too far before one of the players on Phenoms is able to find a kill.
Yeah, there you can see Phenoms just kind of poking, prodding, hitting different angles. Pistola's on ring 3, Bound on Bond, Trippy on the carbine. They're all trying to take these different angles, try and find that one member of Sentinels who's out, overextended, or just in a more vulnerable position. They haven't found them yet. But I think they're just going to be patient and wait. They've got the lead. They can wait for more power weapons to come up and ultimately just wait. Be patient, get that pick, close out this game 2, and focus on the rest of the series.
Yeah, this is kind of the stalemate that I was expecting to see when the game was a 4-kill game at 43-39.
Yeah, a little earlier.
But Phenoms was able to pick up a few kills, and that was a good job by them in doing so, because as soon as the game turns into a stalemate in Royal 2 or Snakebite has sniped, we've seen the comebacks that they're able to come back with, right? I think that it was a great job by Phenoms to kind of make sure that that doesn't happen here in Game 2 and that they're able to kind of close this out. Bound sitting ring 2 off screen with rockets is going to be the player probably that picks up the final kill. They did spot Royal 2 with the snipe, who attempted to jump ring 3 and find an angle onto a player, but immediately Trippy was able to push him down and off of it. Even if Royal 2 is able to pick up like 1 or 2 picks, though, this lead is still pretty comfortable. And time is only ticking away, 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock right now. And eventually, Sentinels is going to have to be the team that pushes. And when they do, they're going to run into bound with rockets. And I think that Phenoms has the luxury of having those multiple options of how they want to play this situation. And the 50th kill comes in, and Phenoms ties the series up 1-1, and we go back to Warlord for Game 3. A little bit more confidence from Phenoms probably after that Game 2. Trippy going off 17-11, and we saw the early killing spree from him really created that gap that allowed Phenoms to kind of play with the lead the entire game, and that's something that's very easy to do. Like, it's so much easier when you have that comfortable lead than from playing from behind all game, especially when you're a young team. So it was a great job by Trippy to step up Game 2 and put on the performance that he did. And
guys, while we have Game 3, do have some updates from the rest of the quarterfinals. So right now, Inconceivable is up 2-0 over HZF, and Turning Point is up 2-0 over Status Quo. So those games are going into Game 3, just as we are here, but obviously this series is a 1-1 right now.
Yeah, no surprise with those scores, right? I think that, like I said at the start, it's going to be very difficult for any of these lower-seeded teams to upset any of our top 4, other than Phenoms, right? I think that there's a reason that this series is tied 1-1 and the others are 2-0 in favor of the higher-seeded team, because there's not a lot of difference between the top 4, I'll say, but when you get down to 5, 6, 7, 8, or I guess in this tournament 6, 7, and 8, in my eyes, there's a lot to be left and a lot to be learned. So it's unfortunate that those series might end up being blowouts, but that's just some more to learn on and some more to grow on it for those lower seeded teams, and more experience for them, the better, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, guys, we're jumping into Game 3 now, which is going to be Warlord Bomb, and jumping things off here with or Ball, excuse me. We're jumping things off with Trippy here.
So it's going to be our first oddball match. It's going to be exciting to see. We see quite a few members going down for Sentinels. Looks like the last player there chasing down Bound, but we just now see Phenoms get the ball. It didn't look like anyone was really in a position to pick it up off the bat. I think they just kind of wanted to establish map control first on the sides and then send someone in to get that ball. We saw Pistola moving it over to Trippy, who's now racking up those first few seconds of time, and then wisely plays it out of the health down towards bottom middle as he was getting pressure.
Yeah, hot start by Phenoms right there. Looks like they are doing a great job in the lane department so far, but as I say that, they had an opportunity for a complete setup on Warlord, and they only came away with 7 seconds. A player from Sentinels was able to sneak in and kill Trippy with the ball, and because of that, Sentinels still has the lead, and that's kind of a blunder. That's the first one I'm going to call out for this Game 3, that Phenoms put themselves in the position to get a setup and get a nice little spawn kill on Sentinels, and they were unable to kind of pursue that strategy and influence it in the game. And because of that, they weren't able to get a good chunk of time, and that's a mistake. When you have to take advantage and capitalize on those situations, if you're Phenoms, if you want to beat a team like Sentinels, it does look like they were able to break Sentinels' setup as well. So that's props to them, and they kind of made up for the blunder that they made early. But you gotta, like I said, you gotta capitalize, and it looks like this is going to be opportunity number 2 for them to rack up some serious ball time.
Yeah, right there. Trippy wisely staying down, watching the rest of the map from that green side to cover his teammates, and he ends up catching APG, who had camo, who had Sentinel Beam, off guard, bottom middle, takes him out. And now his team has continued that control, continued getting ball time. So a great play from Trippy to have that vision, that visibility on the rest of the map, and watch out for his objective player.
Yeah, and we see the lead 52-14, and this is a much better job by Phenoms. The second time around, the second opportunity for a setup, they were able to get that chunk of time. They were able to get almost 40 seconds of time with that setup, and it's built them a lead. And now Sentinels does have the ball in red and blue health pack, and Bound picks up camo off screen. But what will Sentinels be able to do and kind of come back with that? And I like the fact that Phenoms is able to play with the lead for the second game in a row, because we saw that they successfully were able to close out a game they played with the lead last time. So we know that they're comfortable with the lead. So it was good that they've had this hot start to game 3. But Sentinels is always going to be that team that can come back at any point in time, and they know how to play from a deficit. So it doesn't really show much from their side, but it's good to see Phenom start off game 3 hot.
Guys, a quick update if I can interject. We've got a match update from the rest of the quarterfinals. Inconceivable have 3-0'd HZF.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You kind of saw that happening, right? Inconceivable's having won the last Reach tournament online, or on LAN, and they continue their success so far throughout this online tournament. I know it's a different game, but those two skill sets from Halo Reach and H2A will kind of like combine, right? I think that they have so many similar features in them that it's no surprise to see them continue on in our bracket, and hopefully we'll be able to see them play later on today.
Yeah, so that would be our first place pro team taking out the second place open team in that first round. So really well played. Great timing on that jump in shotgun from Snakebite. That was really well done, and now we're gonna see him go to work once again, picking up yet another kill, finding the Sentinel beam. He's got his combo again, and he's just gonna be patrolling as Sentinels is 1 second away from tying it up and has now tied the lead.
Yeah, great job by Snakebite to get 2 players to no shield there, and it does look like both those players are Phenoms get taken out. Sentinels holding a setup and knowing where Phenoms is going to spawn here and doing a phenomenal job of trapping them in those spawns and finishing the kills when needed. Snakebite and crew built up what is now almost a 30-point lead, and because of that, we're going to see Phenoms play from behind again, and it didn't go so well the first time it was on Warlord and they played from behind. So what are they going to be able to do to come back in this game? What are they going to be able to muster up? Who's going to step up for their roster and make a play to make game 3 go their way? We'll have to find out.
Where they're going to spawn?
Yeah, it's one thing you were mentioning. It's like, yeah, they have the Phenoms team has the lead, but Sentinels can come back at any time. It's like these oddball matches, more than any other game mode, feel like they're marathons, not sprints, right? You can shut down a team, get a perfect setup, and just keep them on respawn, whether it's Warlord here, or Lockdown oddball, and really make a comeback happen, right? It's truly a marathon where you can make those long runs, and as you see, Sentinels gain the lead once again.
Yeah, and the 25-30 point lead the Sentinels built was chipped away at, and Phenoms did a phenomenal job of coming back, but what did they give up in the process? 2 players, Ola and Bound, get kills on the Sentinels players when Sentinels has this full setup, and that's a major 2 kills for Phenoms right now, because it looked like Sentinels was going to have another opportunity to get a setup, but those 2 kills are going to say otherwise, and now you see Trippy near the ball. You know one of his teammates is going to be hopefully rotating towards it, and Trippy, just playing his life right now, does actually back where his teammate is flying. That's a huge blunder if he goes down. Ola immediately goes down after the back wag. That's a frustrating experience, but Trippy doing his best to stay alive will also go down. And that's a blunder that you can't really have, and we'll see if Sentinels is able to kind of capitalize on it.
Yeah, a lot just went wrong for Phenoms there. It looked like Trippy thought one of his teammates had the bomb or the ball on green side, but so he rotated towards the portal. No one actually had the ball. Sorry, once again, and then sees the spawner, smacks his teammate, and now falls or trades with Snakebite. But yeah, a lot went wrong, so it's nice to see Sentinels is not completely running away and taking advantage of that fumble.
Guys, I'd love to, while we see this really close match, go into a listen in here with Phenoms and see how they want to claw their way back into this match.
Blue, 2 dead, I'm getting ball.
Blue and yellow, guys, blue and yellow.
Where can I bring this?
I'm at red.
I got naded.
Okay, going bottom blue.
Yellow health. One is yellow health. Still. 2 at yellow. 2 at yellow.
Pushing out yellow, dude. He threw a god nade, dude. Fuck, you're such a loser.
Nice kill.
Is this guy a red?
Dude, bottom mid, yellow nades. Or yellow.
And red.
How do they like? But going green
bottom
health.
Yeah, green health killed me.
Camo's up. He's front blue.
Front blue. Just try to, work aside together, guys. Work aside.
We need to get the
Camo's up. Camo's up.
140 on us.
Dude, there's fucking coaches, dude.
We
He's
got
on
ramp.
yellow side right
I
now?
literally can't move, man.
Middle? Yeah.
He's not
Yeah,
pushing you.
camo.
Stay there, stay there.
Yep. I'm trying to get out, but alright, time to push out, see what happens. Red nades, yep.
We green ramp. Green ramp.
Good.
I just can't do anything.
On top green.
Yeah, see if you guys can go out ramp side maybe.
Yeah, I'm going blue.
Yeah, behind me. Had her blue hub.
Red ramp killed me. Red ramp.
Top blue.
I got one.
Alright, one is on you.
I tossed it. He's gonna probably kill me. I'm gonna. I tossed the bottom. Nice job. Grenades. Yeah, just like yellow shotty and yellow health. On ball. Out green. Are we pushing yellow or green? One's green. Yellow flag, kill me. Yo, guys, green. Alright, yo. Calm down. We're gonna have to push somewhere. They're at green. Only one at green, bro. He's green nerd. TJ, you might be able to just rush ball, honestly. Alright, we're pushing green. TJ's pushing green.
What an
One at yellow.
absolutely suffocating
I'm trying to
setup and streak out of Sentinels there. I mean, you heard it in the comms from Phenoms, but they literally couldn't leave the base.
Yeah, Trippy, well, I literally can't. Just getting completely pinned down in his flag. I believe that was yellow flag right off his respawn. I did love how right before that, the Sentinels player, to start that oddball setup, grabbed oddball when there were 3 players down and was not afraid to push towards that last remaining member on the Phenoms roster because he knew that the rest of his team was going to team shot that player and take him out, right? So he was able to push towards that last player on the Phenoms roster and then set up with the bomb. So he didn't have to worry, and he was able to get like 3-5 more seconds of ball time. So really, really well done out of the Sentinels roster there.
Yeah, speaking of really well done, that kill that Snakebite picked up on the bound that allowed his team to kind of maintain control for another 20 seconds with the ball was phenomenal. And although it didn't result in any more kills, it did give them this a little bit of lead that they have going into the final stretch of this game 3. There's 2 minutes left. It's a 26-point game right now, and every second is gonna matter here coming down to the stretch. And it does look like Phenoms in a position here to kind of get a spawn trap on the Sentinels. Are they able to stay alive and get the picks? What is Sentinels going to be able to do to break this setup? They spot bound on the yellow flag. Snakebite has the intention of pushing them out. Does throw some nades out there. It doesn't look like they've been able to take Neptune down. Maybe they did in the kill feed and just didn't show it. Trippy goes down. Great shots. Bound looks like he's going to go down, but he picks up a huge kill on the Snakebite. Lethal finishes him off. And yes, they get the ball and the setup out of Phenom's hands. But there's been a little bit of damage done. It's a 1-point lead. There's a minute 19 left. Every kill, every second of all time matters from here on out.
This is a nail biter as we get into the final minute of gameplay. We're watching, looks like Phenoms trying to push out of that base, cut the ball, trying to milk as much time as possible. It's just bound as everyone from Sentinels collapses in on him, throwing nades and shooting bullets. Bound drops it out, but it looks like Sentinels was right there to pick it up. Oh my goodness, this is getting crazy.
Yeah, we see from Trippy's point of view that 3 of his teamates just get melted as soon as they try to lead the flag that they spawn at. And they're going to respawn and try the same strategy again. You got to break this top setup. He spots Snakebite top middle, but goes down to Lethal. Snakebite finally goes down to bound. It looks like O was able to pick up a kill on APG and a huge stick onto the ball guy that does go down. And Lethal picks up a double kill off screen, and that's going to be huge because Sentinel's now up 9 seconds, 16 seconds left. Trippy's trying to make his way to the ball, but can't go for it. Sees nades flying across the map towards the ball. Does spot Lethal.
That's game.
And that's game. Phenomenal job by Lethal to close that game out, picking up that double off screen. Those were the 2 kills that made the difference and didn't allow Phenoms to get any control. See a little complaints in the chat about the host they were playing on, but That's going to be an online Halo tournament for you. Royal 2 weighing down the damage with the plus 15, picking up where game 1 left off. He says, all right, Snakebite, I see you're plus 15. Hold on. Hold my beer. And does it in game 3 to get his team a 2-1 lead.
Wow.
That was very intense. Tashi, what were you thinking?
I would say Oddball is delivering the entire time. It was so close. And even when we said that, like, Sentinels were suffocating Phenoms, Phenoms were still only within like 15, 20 seconds. So, yeah, Oddball truly delivering, just like absolute chaos. I was also noticing at the end, I see Trippy, like, he has like a fight or flight moment. There's like 15 seconds left on the clock. He knows he needs 9, but you just see all these nades flying in towards the ball. He's just like, this is a suicide mission. And just, yeah, weren't able to close it out in the end, but awesome series so far, and Sentinels are up 2-1. We are jumping into game 4 here, so we're keeping the action going. So really excited to see how this series concludes.
Yeah, difficulty from Trippy's point of view, as you said, Tosh, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't in that situation, because if you go for the ball, you're going to get hit by those nades and you're going to blow up. So I think that's just a testament to Sentinels understanding the situation and making sure that they don't give Trippy an outcome where he comes out on top. And a great job by them to close out that series. But game 4 underway, and Phenom won game 2 on this same map. So I think that Shrine gives them another opportunity to come back in the series and take it to a game 5.
Yeah, Lethal having those rockets, wasted 2 of them, but they still have, looks like at least 1 more to work with. But I saw maybe another one being fired. They're not completely in control of Ring. It looks like Lethal trying to make something happen there. But 3 members are now down, 4 members down. As I say that, they shut me up and take over the center of the map and are pushing, and hopefully we'll grab that bomb and try and at least work it a little closer towards the Phenoms base.
Yeah, something I want to pay attention to in this game 4 is Tox's inability to play efficient, objective throughout their history as a team. And I know I called him Tox because that team got a lot of slack for not being able to play the objective while slaying. And this Sentinels roster, having just APG as the change, is probably going to carry a lot of that difficulty. But we do see APG, as I say that, up the ramp with the bomb and the flag. It's in the flag. Are they able to get the slays in order to get this first bomb cap? It does look like they're in great position. Somehow APG is staying alive with Lethal on the flag. A kill goes in favor of Lethal, and that's going to open up the map. Double kill for Snakebite. You hear the comms saying arm, arm, arm. Last guy alive is going to be Rock Ramp. All 4 dead. That's going to be bomb number 1 going in Sentinel's favor very early into this game. And there's times where on Shrine Bomb, you only see 1 arm throughout the entire game. So that's a huge benefit that Sentinels gets to play with so far in this game 4. And now Phenoms backs against the wall, tournament lives on the line. What are they going to be able to do to answer?
I don't know what they're going to be able to do as we see Sentinels moving the bomb once again, not letting up, just pushing it forward. I did want to talk about how we saw Royal 2 cover APG through the enemy team's rocks, move that bomb in. Then APG drops off the bomb right on the plant spot. Royal 2 ends up getting shot at from a spawner in the rocks. APG circles back to then cover Royal 2 as a thank you for covering him when he had bomb. And then once they have both saved each other, they were able to work together and get that bomb arm. So really well done, great coordination. But now we need to talk about Phenoms as they're moving the bomb into the base of Sentinels and arming it. Sentinels all trapped on their rocks, trying to do whatever they can to stop this plant.
It does look like they were able to kill the bomb guy and get it out for a second, and that was all opened up by Bound. You got 3 straight kills on Sentinels players, winning 3 straight 1v1s that opened up the map and allowed the rest of Phenoms to advance the bomb on the map, and Sentinels playing just good enough defense to stop that arm and throw it off the map and reset that bomb into the bottom middle section to where all of that work done by Bound, all of those 1v1s that he just won didn't result to anything in this objective. And because of it, now they have to deal with Snakebite with Snipe Shotgun in their hut, and that's not an easy task to deal with.
Just wasting their snipe ammo. Oh, there is nothing more heartbreaking than just hearing in the distance your sniper rifle just going off and ticking away without any chance of you stopping it. It's very unfortunate. But we see Sentinels maintaining that control. APG taking out Ola, but Ola picking up lethal right in return. Trippy gonna try and get this bomb at least to center control with Neptune. Neptune pushing right in front, getting hit by a ridiculous frag grenade. Snakebite taking out both of them. And then you just see someone from Sentinels carefree, able to walk through the front center of Phenom's base. So that kind of just shows the amount of control that they have right now. As APG has phenomenal shots, taking out Trippy off his respawn. We're going to see them continue to push in and potentially get this arm. I want to see if Sentinels has a sniper and is able to lock down people from a distance. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very hard for them to try and win, get this bomb planted while chipping away with the BR, right? You usually need at least one power weapon to lock people down, trap them, so they can't shoot back at your bomb who's arming it.
Yeah, it does look like Phenoms is able to play good enough defense to where they stop the second potential bomb arm the Sentinels was looking to drive forward. But Trippy being stuck in a tough situation here now that the bomb is kind of in a comfortable spot and he's no longer having to worry about Sentinels running his base, is in ring, and he's going to have to look to be the player that pushes forward and gets a little bit of control for his team. Does spot a player ring 3. I think they do force that player down into the bonfire. Does spot APG on the P shot. Trippy kind of waiting for the rest of Phenoms to catch up to him on the map before he makes a play, and it's smart doing so. But Lethal jumping ring 3 with the combo is able to spot Trippy off guard with the height advantage and take him out. And now 3 members go down for Phenoms, and this is another opportunity for Sentinels to kind of overwhelm them and put them in a spawn trap on a map like Shrine, which happens all too often. It's up to Trippy to get off respawn quickly and pick up a kill. And he does get good shots that allow Ola to pick up the kill, but as soon as that happens, Snakebite picks up a double. Down does finish off Snakebite, and a great job by Trippy to reposition himself, take down APG, and now fight for map control once again.
Yeah, and now taking down Lethal while moving the bomb up. And we're seeing teams now move it through P Street. We saw Sentinels actually get their plant by moving the bomb through the rocks, but then they've swapped over to a P Street push with the bomb, and now Phenoms using that same strategy, moving the bomb P Street. Could you give us a little more explanation as to why teams are using that P Street cover and route a little more frequently later on in this match?
Yeah, I think it's just so much easier to spawn kill the other team in the rocks rather than the turret side of the map. So where you want to force enemy teams on away from where you're running the bomb, right? Your presence blocks spawns in Halo. So seeing players maneuver themselves over towards the snipe side is only going to force the other team to spawn in their rocks. And when you force the spawn in the rocks, it's much easier to get those kills than vice versa, than pushing the rocks and trying to kill players that are at the snipe. So that's typically the strategy behind pushing into an enemy's base on Sank or Shrine or any remake that we've seen so far. It does look like Snakebite is going to just be pushing up the flag ramp, and he spots multiple players in the rocks, and that's an easy kill on a Trippy, and that's similar to what I was talking about. And another easy kill goes from Royal 2 onto Bound from Ring 3, and now Ola getting caught off guard. And this is what I was referring to. Like, when players are spawning in the rocks, they don't have a ton of cover. They don't have a ton of answers to the onslaught that can potentially come from the flag, from the snipe, from Ring 3. You have so many different angles that you can attack these players that are spawning in the rocks. And multiple kills going in the way of Sentinels. It does look like they were able to kill Snakebite, who was the most important player for Sentinels, being the furthest pushed up. And now they have to worry about APG. If they're able to kill APG off screen, then this is another opportunity for them to break the setup that Sentinels has. But if APG is able to stay alive, which it looks like he has been able to do so far, then that was going to result in a bomb arm. But Bound gets a double on the Lethal and on the APG, and that's going to stop the map control and the push that Sentinels just had.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed what Neptune did, but Neptune, I believe he hit a spring jump from the P Street while he was under fire, getting grenaded and shot at from Snakebite, went up to Ring 3, then dropped back down and was able to stay alive and just kind of keep Snakebite's eyes and attention for long enough for his teammate to end up getting in the hut, grabbing that sniper, and taking him out. So really great movement out of that, out of Neptune on Phenoms. But now Phenoms pushing the bomb once again in the P Street. Royal 2 taking out that bomb carrier, and we're gonna see Sentinels need to push and try and get this ring control back.
Yeah, I don't know what Royal 2 just did, but he picked up 2 straight kills that were very important kills because Phenoms was pushing into his hut with the bomb, and that was going to be an opportunity for Phenoms. But Royal 2 single-handedly picking up 2 kills there is going to actually result in the opposite happening. This is going to be Sentinels running the bomb up the flag ramp very quickly, and a huge nade from Bound. Trades with Royal 2. Lethal does pick up a kill, but always able to finish off Lethal, and that's going to stop the second bomb arm. But it happened so quickly that Sentinels was in their hut fighting. Royal 2 was fighting a player pushing up with the bomb on his P-shot. 5 seconds later, Royal 2's gotten a double, and they're running the bomb up your flag ramp right there.
Yeah, that was so fast. We saw bomb almost in their hut, and then by the time we see Snakebite get to the other team's hut, the bomb is already there, about to be armed by his teammates. Like that, the dominance and just ability to play the objective while slaying, just moving it forward, that was really cool to see as we now witness players getting completely blasted off of ring 3. Neptune's body gets parked on top of a rock out in the distance. Bound also going down. Snakebite picking up 2, then falling down to Pistola, and we see the bomb trying to move once again to Sentinel's hut.
I want to just point out the amount of time on the clock, right? We started with a 30-minute game, 11 minutes have almost passed, and the score is 1-0. And that's something I touched on at the beginning of this game, is that like Shrine games can end 1-0 very, very often. A lot of times it goes into overtime 0-0, and someone eventually gets the cap. And for Sentinels to come out early and get that first arm in the first 2 minutes gives them so much comfort and gives them such a relaxed state that they get to play with this lead for the rest of the game, that they're not really pressured to ever overextend for any arm. And the entire time Phenoms is faced with that deficit and having to play from behind, and with that it's so difficult, and the clock starts to play with your gameplay, right? 4 minutes left, you haven't gotten an arm yet. What makes you think that you're going to be able to change what you've done in the first 11 minutes? It's got to be a pretty daunting and task to try and overcome, right? I think that the more this clock becomes a factor, the harder it is for the minds of Phenoms to remain calm and controlled and stick to the game plan, because they're going to have to get more and more desperate with this clock dwindling down.
I love this route from Snakebite. He knows that the other team knows he's here, so he went low, faked him out, and immediately jumped back up without needing to actually push straight into the flag or bomb spot, knowing that his team needed to get there and give him some support. Unfortunately, it looks like most of them are going to be on respawn. So Neptune actually in the base taking out a player. It looks like Phenoms able to get a great set of kills here and is moving the bomb up really well.
Yeah, no,
Royal
this
2
is it.
might drop down, so only Lethal left. As this bomb moves in, we see 3 players from Phenoms absolutely getting control, getting great angles, and locking things down.
Yeah, this is it. This is the opportunity that Phenoms needs, right? They picked up them 8 straight kills. Bound is in the base. Ola is also picking up a kill. Neptune's brought the bomb in, and they are arming it. They are looking to tie this game up. The bomb goes down. Ola's the last guy alive on the flag. An unbelievable defense from Lethal to pick up that kill onto Ola. All 4 dead for Phenoms, and you have to think that that was the opportunity that they needed, and they were not able to capitalize. Sentinels, their defense is just so strong. It feels like in every Halo, and they're just showing glimpses of it here again in H2A. Right when you think Phenoms has map control and has the opportunity to tie this game and bring it potentially into overtime.
Oh no.
Sentinels has the other version of this story in their mind, where they go up 2-0 and comfortably cruise into this bracket advancement. It does look like they are able to run away with that overextension.
Oh no.
APG only having the bomb in his mindset right now after that second arm they're not satisfied being up 2-0. They want to end this, and they want to end it now. They don't want to leave any room for Phenoms to breathe. And APG doing a phenomenal job of staying alive right here. And gosh, man, Phenoms, you were so close, and now this looks like an overwhelming task.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. We see that second bomb come in, and now Lethal moving that third, trying to close it out. They're just going to need to get a handful of slays right here, and they should be able to close it out. But regardless, with 1 minute left, it seems like it's pretty much over anyways. They're just trying to put that final nail in the coffin.
Just keep fighting their side, bro. We can keep that alive. That's huge.
Yeah, now this game is all but over with a minute left, less than a minute left, and 2 arms to go. It's too much for anybody to try and overcome. I don't even know if I could do this in a matchmaking game with these guys on my team playing against 343's finest in Tashi and John. Not to throw y'all under the bus, but I think you guys could play good enough defense to where we couldn't arm.
I'm glad we make the cut there.
and that's just a testament to the difficulty of what it takes to get the objective done on the map, like Shrine Bomb and Snakebite giving a little bit of a jab back to Bound, throwing it right back at him, and no surprise there. I mean, if you're gonna smack,
holy smokes!
And Roll 2 says plus 15 is great, but plus 22 sounds a lot better, right? And Game 4 goes to Royal 2 and the dominance that he just.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's crazy.
Royal 2 and APG combining for a plus 22. Amazing. You love to see it.
I mean, I'm kind of loving the Sentinels versus Phenom's little trash talk here that we see in the chat. Thank you guys for keeping it PG rated. But yeah, I mean, it kind of says it all right there. So Sentinels are going to take the series 3-1, just as you saw there. Really good series here. So yeah, thanks to the guys for putting on a show. Sentinels will move on to the semifinals. Phenoms, unfortunately, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Of course, they did get top 8, so they don't have to play through the Open again, which is really nice. They can kind of review the film, work on their strats, and hopefully come back a bit stronger in just a few weeks. But yeah, guys, I mean, pretty awesome series. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, kind of went the way I thought it was gonna go score-wise. I thought the Phenoms was gonna at least win one game, but at the end, I thought Sentinels was always going to be a little bit too much to handle. A great game 3 that could have gone either way, and I think that was a must-win for Phenoms because at no point was game 1 close. Game 2, they did a phenomenal job, but they're still a young, new team and still getting that practice under their belt and building that chemistry that they need to in order to compete against a team like Sentinels. And I think just Sentinels' veteran play really showed out and very specific moments at the end of Warlord Bomb. And then towards the end of Shrine Bomb, when all of Phenoms was in their base and they had gotten a few round of slays, Sentinels did just enough to play defense and stop the one arm that we thought was going to tie it up 1-1. And that's just the story of this Sentinels team since the beginning of them forming, right? Whenever they're in a super close game, they somehow always manage to get the kills they need and to clutch up when it matters most. Phenoms needing a little bit more of that clutch factor in them, and I expect them to be able to build on that in the future.
Yeah, and you saw the disappointment there on Trippy's face as soon as that bomb was thrown out and they weren't able to arm it. I think he was kind of
you see the
I felt that pain, and then before you knew it, the second arm for Sentinels was in, and it just felt like the series was over right then and there.
Yeah, I think that it goes back to kind of what I said in one of the earlier games is you don't get a lot of openings against a team like Sentinels. So when you do, you need to capitalize on them, and not capitalizing on that moment, having been there as a player, is you almost feel like you've already lost the game, even though there's 2 minutes left. Like, you're like, when you have that good of an opportunity and you don't capitalize, it's like, what are we going to have to do in order to capitalize on one of these things? And like, that's a tough mindset to deal with. And like, it's something that everybody's been a part of. and just one of those moments that you wish you could get back, right? And I think that that's what we're going to think of this Phenoms roster today is they had a couple of moments that they want back in order to kind of change the tide of how things went.
Well, hopefully they get to match up in the next series because some of that trash talk was a little nice. John, you promised people we had some giveaways. Is it time yet for giveaways?